Well, the topics today, definitely the four things where Alabama fans are concerned, but you should look at going into fall camp. Just my thoughts on that, and what Coach Saban sees on that. And there were a lot of people that chimed in on what they look forward to seeing in fall camp, because a lot of fans, you don't know. You go to the open practices, you go to the A-Day games, you go to the free events, and you don't know. You sit down with your wife and your children, and you watch somebody drop a pass, and you go, well, that guy's going to suck. But you don't know what he could come out to be. Or you go out and you watch a quarterback throw, and you go, that wasn't really the strongest throw. Or you see a guy run the ball, and he runs it one time, and you think, well, that guy's going to be amazing, but he may not turn out to be amazing. It's just, what do you look for? What do you zero in on as your focus points when you talk fall camp? So we kicked around that part of the conversation. Also, coaches on the hot seat. We have a lot of SEC coaches that seats are kind of warm, and we have some that are blazing hot. Butch Jones, one of them for Tennessee. Kevin Sumlin, of course, at Texas A&M. Now, I think his seat should be warm, but according to a lot of Aggies beat writers and, of course, the athletic director of Texas A&M, he says, look, Kevin, you got to start winning, and you got to start winning now. And, of course, you have Gus Malzahn at Auburn, of whom, when he has the right quarterback, Auburn tends to be a lot more successful. But when you don't have the right quarterback, you have the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. And I know the Auburn Tigers are getting pretty much sick of seeing that. So kicked around SEC coaches on the hot seat, and even talked a little bit more about the Deshaun Hand situation at Alabama. Had the technicality DUI. How does Nick Saban handle it? How should Nick Saban handle it, seeing that this situation took place last Saturday, a week before fall camp? We see where he's trying to do the right thing. Yes, he's drunk. Yes, mentally he's impaired a bit, but he pulls over off the road, recognizing that I've had a little bit too much to drink. But after pulling off, he does not turn the car off. The car stays on. The keys are still in the ignition. The headlights are on. The air conditioner is blowing, and he's asleep at the wheel. So despite the fact that, yes, he did do the right thing, he did not proceed with drinking and driving, the thing that the ad council commercials talk so much about. You got to take the keys out the car, buddy. You can't give the law enforcement a question of whether you were driving under the influence or not. Did not take the keys out of the car, to which the police department rolls up and it sees that, and it automatically thinks, okay, he did drive under the influence and got stuck with the technicality DUI. So a lot of things kicked around today, tremendous feedback, but as always, Mark, the buzz is high in Tuscaloosa right now due to the fact that football's back. We can stop talking about it and actually start getting a view of it.
So I'm going to back you up a little bit and give you my take on a number of the subjects you just reviewed there. One would be not a lot of people are able to access football camp at the collegiate level. It's more pronounced at the NFL level, where we see NFL camps open for people to attend on a regular basis. When I was covering the SEC firsthand and was right there on the scene of 3 different campuses, you have the same experience where you're able to mingle to a certain extent with coaches and players at the beginning of practice, and then you get about 15 or 20 minutes to watch practice if you're in the video business, to videotape practice, and then you're removed from the scene. We see in the NFL circles where it's wide open, and you see 1,000 to 5,000 people out there watching practice on a regular basis. So I'm a little bit more accustomed to seeing that, even though I covered the SEC firsthand, like a lot of fans, able to get to the NFL practices and see where it's wide open. And the things that you bring up are well stated in regards to, you've got to understand what the intent of the practice is, what the purpose, what the personnel groupings are. You might have a second string quarterback behind a first string offensive line and vice versa. You've got ones playing twos and twos playing threes, and you got to understand that the success that you see in those limited circumstances aren't necessarily transparent, because it could be certain groupings could be set up for success or for failure, just so a coach or a coaching staff can see certain situations and see certain players respond and see certain schemes and groupings and how they work out. In terms of coaches on the hot seat, with Kevin Sumlin turning in so many 8-5 finishes following fast starts, and because he got off to such a fast start himself in College Station with the back-to-back years with Johnny Manziel, I understand where the Texas A&M fans are very disgruntled, because it's one thing to jump onto a 500 type program like Texas A&M generally was right before Sumlin, and then he starts to ramp it up year by year, kind of similar to what we've seen with Butch Jones or Brett Bielema, who takes over an Arkansas program that was struggling at that point, and so he was given the 1 year to go 3-9, and it was understandable. Then he started to rack up some wins. Where Kevin Sumlin, he's sitting in this rich state of Texas. Much has been made of the recruiting classes that he's brought in. He's sitting again in definitely one of the top 3 recruiting bases in college football, and he just keeps hitting that wall over and over and over again. And after high delivery of wins and bowl appearances and top 10 finishes those first year or two, it's declined there at Texas A&M. Butch Jones, what seems difficult for him is that he's missed an opportunity with Josh Dobbs at quarterback, with the 2 running backs they had in Hurd and Kamara, with the great recruiting classes that he put together 3 straight, and a number of those players are gone. So he's still recruiting at a high level, but he seems to have missed a window of opportunity when Georgia and Florida were down. Even though the Gators won the division's down, and Georgia in particular has been down a notch, and he had it his Tennessee program in a prime position that they could have won an SEC Eastern Division or 2. Now, but he's amped it up from sub 500 to 9-4 the past couple of years, so he's done well. But to win another game or 2 in the SEC, that's going to make the difference between going to the Tax Slayer Bowl and going into an SEC championship game. That's going to have to be accomplished, in my opinion, from Butch Jones. It's not expected this year, but he's going to have to get it done very soon.